Okay, we had a short little break last week, but it's good to be back with the Shiur. As I mentioned, that we do take donations for the Shiur to help things run certain things and to make the flyers every week. And Baruch Hashem, there's many more people watch on the YouTube, which have a channel there of all Rabbi Suchard Shurim for the last couple of years. So, believe it or not, there's a couple of hundred Shurim we have there, which welcome to look at it anytime you want to see. Just go on you can just go look up on there. You can watch me for more details where to go. But just wish on that, I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos. And we started the month of Kislev. It's the month of miracles. And please God, we have Hanukkah very soon with more miracles. We just see many more miracles to come and lots of Yeshuas for everybody. But then I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos and a Shavuot overhead.
Thanks, Naftali. It's good to see everybody. And it's always, to make contact is such a fantastic thing. Wherever we see a South African, we do it. I had to have my eyes checked, with hope that some miracles are happening, it's going to happen. And the guy, he was born in South Africa, made it. My wife went there. Every time we find a South African here and there, it's always a good connection. Of course, all Americans, and especially those do understand that there's a lot of people that do listen to the podcast, because not everybody can be ready at 8 o'clock, and it's quite different. So tonight, from all the Parshiot, and there could be maybe one or two things that I'm going to compare, we may have touched on, is about the Avot, about our forefathers. The book of Bereshit and is really mainly stories, mainly stories of the Avot, how they, as human beings, how they had challenges, and they overcame the challenges, and they did things which is a real lesson to what we can do, and should do if we haven't been doing them. And one of the things where we mentioned is the importance of that people have challenges all the time, if it's with health and money and children and building and doing, and to overcome those challenges. So we said, actually mentioned, and we're staying, in the hotel at the well, and I have an opportunity to speak there, usually on a Shabbos afternoon, and there's something which I just turn it on. And I had an opportunity to speak, and I said something, and I'm not sure if I touched on it in one of the shurim, but that is that the Avos we were talking about is Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, all their wives and their children, and how they got into Mitzrayim, eventually left Mitzrayim, and there, when they received the Torah, became a nation. But there's so many interesting things that they did that we don't realize that we do today, but we don't know how to do it to that extent. One of the things which we just had on usually on a Monday night, but last night we had, was the last night, Tuesday night. Yeah. We did something that hasn't been done in Yerushalayim. Well, why in Yerushalayim? It's to do with shidduchim. Shidduchim is to be a matchmaker, right? And what we did is that somebody else together, myself, and we talked about it. Then we decided not to just invite everybody to come for a semi-dinner, not a dinner, but that we would give them cake and we give them a soup and we give them uh, coffee and tea. And really, it's supplied by my son Moti in the hotel. And we want sometimes we just say anybody's interested in shidduchim should come. Sometimes we have an average of between average of 30 people at least that come, and sometimes we have a good speaker or something different. And we have a lot of people, and last night we decided to do it really professionally. We decided first to attack the real frum. You know, over here in the real frum, everybody's frum. I believe that everybody is a Haredi. But, you know, people label themselves, you know, Haredim, people who are, you know, try to do everything. And then there's but some things they don't do. And then there's those people actually or go to the army and a lot of Bnei Kiva, Mizrahi, and they do there what they feel is correct. Everybody's doing L'Shem Shemaim, and the Rabbanu Shalom, you know, it runs the show, and then there are people who are that perhaps they just go to shul, and those are the people, and so we reach out to all of them, but we decided to take an age group and to take a group. So we took the Haredim. Haredim are people who, you know, that try to keep all the mitzvahs. Everybody tries to keep all of the mitzvahs, and everybody wears a different kind of a yarmulke, and so we're not going into that. But we had an age group from 28 to 38, and it was only a source sector, and all usually Karenim, when they start shidduchim, going out for marriages, what they do is they go to a shadchan, somebody who's really a professional shadchan. They even take money when they produce a shidduch, a marriage, and we invited some shadchanim, and we got 30 people who came for a dinner, and it's really mostly not done because usually people, a family, you know, says my daughter is 21, 22. I want a good shidduch. They go find somebody who is a shadchan, and he says, "Do you have a good boy that has come to you?" And that's the way they do it. But what happens when people are already 28 and they haven't found that way a good shidduch, right? So we took people from 28 to 38, and we wondered what was going to happen. Anyway, we got over 30 people that came, an equal amount. We try to make it between boys and men and women, boys and girls, and they had a little dinner and put them sitting in the same table, group sitting at the same table with a shotgun, and it really worked. First, we weren't sure if people were going to come. We were waiting for people to say, you know, how can you do something? This is not the way we do it, you know. And but we felt and really know of one person going out on a date, others in the Chatkonim, when the people sat together, everybody had a tag on them with their names, and people, after sitting at a table with a few boys and girls, young men, young women, so they tagged who they would like to see, and we found quite a few. We're just working out and helping them to find their telephone numbers because we have all the telephone numbers, and actually it worked. So Who was the first shadchan? So the Rebbeinu Shalom, of course, created a man and woman, Adam v'Chava. So we're not going to talk about that. But you know who he was? Quite an old person. It was Avram Avinu. He was the first shadchan. He saw that Yitzhak was nearly 40 years old. He didn't have a color, so he called on really Rabbi Eliezer, his servant, to go and find a shidduch. And he went, and he went to his wife's family, to Sora's family, and that's where the first shidduch came, that Rivka, that she was she helped Eliezer and showed to be kind, and it came out that the next day already she was on the way back. So one thing so interesting, we did mention it once, I'm not sure if in the Shiur, but certainly did mention it, is that some say Yitzhak was a young little girl. According to the Ramban, she was
girl.
the 33 years old, but it's so hard to.
You mean Rivka?
Rivka, yeah.
Rivka.
And also that I think according to the Ramban, Nachmanides, she was 12 years old, right? A little bit easier to understand. And she said that the Eliezer showed that everything was like a Min Hashemayim, and it was Avram Avinu who sent him. So she says, right, I'm ready for the shidduch. I'm going to go back. So, question, and they asked the girl, will you go back? So that's important also. You know, you never force a person into a shidduch. That even though that had all these exciting features, but they said, do you want to go with him, with Eliezer? And she said, yes. And Eliezer says tomorrow, and the family went so keen. But she says, I'll even go tomorrow. And she left. So the family blessed her. There was a Basul, her brother, there was Lovan, and there was and her mother, and they blessed her. And when I was my Besedra, I mentioned that I couldn't believe it. They says, we bless you that you shall be the mother of a multitude, right? So that's nothing bad about that. But then she says, and that you should overcome all your enemies. So you tell a little girl who's either 3 or 12 years old, you're going to get married, you're going to have a chuppah with sheva brachas and the whole thing. I have never, ever heard at a marriage or at a sheva brachas they bless the girl that if you have enemies, then that you'll overcome them. I mean, who has enemies at that age? You know, it's and not enemies. You can have somebody you fight over a piece of chocolate, but you don't. There's nothing special, you know, to talk about. So the interesting thing is that we also compared to there was a very good vote that I heard in the name of the one of the tzaddikim of Yerushalayim, and he said that when we open the Sefer Torah, not that we open the Sefer, when they open the Ark to read the Sefer Torah, he says, you know, they sing Ein Kamocha, and we see, and when we open the Ark, and then it says, when you it says, "Vayufutzu oyuvecha mipanecha." We bless those people who are opening the Ark. You know, millions of Jews all over the world on a Monday, Thursday, the Shabbos afternoon, and the Shabbos we open, and many other times we open the Ark, and it says that your enemies should be spread out. What do you mean the enemies should be spread out. Which enemies? You're opening the ark, who who's trying to close it, and so the tzaddik, one of the tzaddikim in Yerushalayim, that so what he said was, he says that whenever there's kedusha, whenever there's holiness, whenever you're opening the ark to read the Torah, there's somebody who's saying, maybe not in that shul at that moment, but there's always people who are trying to make snide remarks against Yiddishkeit, and he said this word at the opening of a new school, a new yeshiva. Says, we open a yeshiva straight away. Oh, what do you need in a yeshiva? We have so many, and where are you going to get the money from, and who's going to collect, and etc., etc. So the enemies don't have to be your personal enemies that you had to have a fight over a piece of land, or something went on in business. But enemies is to what you want to do in life, what you want to spread in life. And when Rivka married Yitzhak, what did they want to spread? They want to spread Yiddishkeit. They were the next couple after Avram and Sarah. And so the bracha was that you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to carry on from Abraham, and there'll be Yitzhak, and there'll be Yaakov, and there'll be the 10 tribes, and there'll be Joshua, and there'll be the Jewish people that came into from Egypt into Eretz Israel. That is going to be a future, right? And so this is, in other words, that you people stand for something. What do they stand for? This young girl who's marrying Yitzhak, Isaac, who was on the altar, and he nearly was sacrificed, but of course Hashem didn't want him to be sacrificed. They were the epitomes of holiness. He says, and even if there's people who fight that, you'll overcome them, and that's your surname. Their enemy, your enemy, those are the enemies. And so we see from there also